Alright, what is going on, people of the internet, and welcome back to the episode of Archaeopteryx Evolved, max speed, and 60 frames per second, 1080p with no screen tearing. Oh, if you couldn't already tell, my GTX 1080 came in, and it is beautiful. I mean, I had a 970 before, and it was an amazing card. Don't get me wrong, that is a very high-end card, but compared to this 1080, well, you just can't. You just can't. I mean, look at this. Arc is running on high epic settings, and it's doing 60 frames. Okay, I mean, honestly, the first time I launched Arc after installing that 1080, it was like I put on glasses for the first time. I don't wear glasses, but I imagine that's what you could probably compare it to. So as you can see here, we're testing the Archaeopteryx today, and I do quite like this little creature, and I think it's going to be very evident why that is. Just because if you can see, well, I'm sure you can, what the hell are the Arc devs thinking? And this is the greatest thing in my opinion, but I'm still so confused as to why this exists. It's basically like an animal parachute, except it's deployed 100% of the time, and I'm not even joking. You can press spacebar to jump, and then, you know, it'll automatically start flapping its wings like this, right? But if you're holding this and you're running around with it, if you hit a rock and you bump up, that's it, you're stuck in midair. The only way to get down is to throw the Archaeopteryx out of your hand, from what I've seen at least. I mean, there might be another way, but that's all I've got. That's all I can see. So, it's just the funniest thing to me. And you can kind of steer it around in midair, although it doesn't really do all that much. I mean, it's a very numb movement. I mean, you don't really feel it when you're you know, moving around. You can't really notice that you're changing directions all that often. So you can still do it. Don't get me wrong. That's how this works. But it's just the funniest thing moving around on this little guy. And you can do so many great things with it. And because it doesn't require a saddle, this means you can do this at any level. And in fact, if you check out its weight here, side note, dat health. That's what most surprised me. The weight is actually quite low, so it's not going to be one of those mounts that you're bringing around with you, where, you know, you're expecting to kind of bring yourself along with full metal armor, a rifle, grenades, C4. You probably won't be able to get yourself carrying that around. In fact, I would probably recommend actually pumping its weight more than its movement speed, because if you saw, it does only really do a continuation of its current user's movement speed. So if you saw when I was running around and I jump up into the air, it was gliding. It wasn't flying, it was gliding. And that is going to mean that if you're trying to pump movement speed on this thing, you're probably going to not find all that much success. So I've gone off and, because I had to reinstall Arc multiple times to get to work a couple days ago. No big deal. It's what you expect out of an early access game, basically. Not really. But, basically what I've gone ahead and done is pumped up the XP multipliers to 100,000% so we could get maximum movement speed on this little guy, and we're going to see if it makes any difference here. So another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to the top of 2 mountains and launch some square off of it. So it gets 2.5% movement speed, bringing it up to a very, very healthy 262.5% movement speed. So you can see here, of course, because it is gliding, I don't think it accelerates at all, really, sadly. So I don't think movement speed is going to do too much. It's more about your player's movement speed. I mean, it will help if you bump into something in midair and you have to get it going again. But for the most part, it's just if you want this thing to follow you around. Because, of course, if you're running around in your hand, it kind of inhibits your movement ability. Because, let's say you're running around the world of Arc, and there are a lot of clipping areas in this map that if you hit, you're going to bounce off of something. In fact, you'll probably see it here in a second. I'm flying across this lake, right? Which is great. The Archaeopteryx allows you to do that, no problem. But you're going to see here, I bump into a rock and I bounce because I clipped on it. And there are a lot of things that you can do that in Arc. Like if you're running along the beach and you just hit a rock at the wrong angle, you're going to bounce. And then from there, you're going to be stuck up in midair with the Archon, or the Archaeopteryx, in your hand. And then you're kind of stuck in midair without any way of really getting down. So that is kind of a problem. But other than that, movement speed probably isn't too recommended, because otherwise, you know, it's not going to be any faster while you're in midair. This is probably one of the most beautiful yet confusing shots I've ever seen in Arc. It's a half-naked man dangling from a prehistoric chicken flying across 2 mountains, crossing the gap entirely. in 60 FPS. But yeah, it's really a sight to behold. I mean, it's so weird, isn't it? Like, just I never ever thought that this would be how this creature was added to Ark. And when I saw the trailer when they released it for two, I forget what version of Ark we're on right now, but when I saw it, I was like, you know, I know people are going to want the tape jar the most. I know that they are, but this is really the creature that I'm looking forward to in the update. And it's proved me right 100% of the time right here. I mean, this is just the stupidest, most amazing thing that I think I've ever seen. So anyway, just a bit of a situation update on the server that most people are probably already aware that we're planning. I've interviewed a lot of people for the admin jobs. That was pretty much my entire day yesterday. I woke up at like 9 o'clock in the morning after going to bed at 3 o'clock in the night the day before that. So I got 6 hours sleep, did interviews for 12 hours, and then went to bed again. So that was actually a lot of fun, and met a lot of good people there. So let me tell you right now, this server is going to have some good admins, and it was part of their recommendation that I changed my profile picture on YouTube to a tape jar. So you know the server is going to be a lot of fun because these guys are good. So we've now arrived at the top of the volcano. If you can even call it a volcano, it's really only overflowing with metal. I mean, I kind of wish we had lava. It's dinosaurs, for Christ's sake, but whatever. And we're going to jump off of it. But first I'm going to fumble typing in the r.bloomquality0 command several times. So, of course, we've already seen that we don't lose any altitude, so it's not really going to come to much of a surprise here that when we do jump off of this volcano, it's infinite potential is all I can really say. The problem with it is that, from my experience, you can't lower altitude. In fact, I'm probably missing something incredibly stupid like, oh, press control. Oh, I didn't think to do that. I press C. Thanks, guys. Pressing control completely fixed the problem. And then it would probably completely fix every issue that I've had moving around with this little guy. But as you can see, we try to aim for the little patch of water here, but I'm not so good with judging falling distance, evidently. Because as you'll see in a moment, it looks like I'm over the water. So I decide, okay, I'm going to let go of this guy. And he's just going to kind of fall on the other side. And you get thrown by this guy. I did not know this little chicken had that much strength in him. That's really something. And while Infinitestats stop you from getting hurt and it instantly brings you back up to full health, it can't really save you from fall damage that is equal to maybe several million. Anyway, I think that's going to pretty much do it from us. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, well, just leave a comment and just ask for what you want to see in the next video. If you got any suggestions or anything, you can leave them in the comments and we'll always read them. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of whatever we make. Peace. Wave, you stupid character. Peace. Yeah. Alright, what is going on, people of the internet? Welcome back to the episode of Ark Survival Evolved Max Speed. In this episode, we're taking a look at the tape jar. It's basically a tape jar. That's what I'm calling it. I know it's probably like tapeada or something, but I'm calling it the tape jar. Holy crap, this thing is fast, and I'm not sure it's physically possible for anything to beat its wings that quickly. Aside from insects, I'm sure hummingbirds and bees and stuff do that. But in Ark, I don't believe the dinosaurs can go this quickly. I think this may be one of the fastest creatures in the game, aside from maybe the water creatures who are notoriously fast.